Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening. So we'll start the session, guys. Just a minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, so fine. So in the last session, so what we have done, so we just saw that. So what exactly the Snowflake is, and so we saw how to create Snowflake trial account, right? So in this particular today's session, what we are going to do is we will see so how to work with Snowflake, how to create a database table, and within that table how we can able to load the data into the tables. We will see that now. So for example, here this is our Snowflake account which we have created in the previous session. Let me log in into that particular account. This is the username which we have created. This is the password, right? Now here, once we open our account, whichever the worksheet we have recently opened, that worksheet will be here in the recent list. Now this is with the name it is saving by default. If you don't wanted to save this on the name on this particular the date format, if you wanted to save this on the specific name, you can specify the name also. For example, here double click on it. I will give the name as a class. Now name as class. That's it. Now if I given the class as a name, if I close it, see this, it will be with the class name. This is the worksheet which you are working with it recently, right? Let me open that particular worksheet again. When you open the worksheet, it will take us to this particular window, right? So where we can able to see all the database objects and then schemas and everything. You can able to see it in the left hand side. And coming to the right side, we can able to see all the query execution plan. This is the query execution plan where we are going to work with this. Just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Yeah. Now let's come to this. Here, that right hand side, you can able to see the queries, right? Which we are going to work. Now, this is the database which we have created in the previous session. Now, what we are going to do is today, so whatever the thing we have done, we will remove the database and then we will create it. We will drop the database. We will create it from a scratch again. Click on this. Here you will have drop option, right? Now we drop the database. Now from the scratch, we will create a database. We will create a table. We will load the data to the table. Now here, let me refresh it. See this, right? If you do it from this particular worksheet, or if you do it from here, both are similar. Now here, if you wanted to create the database and anything, we need to write a query. And here we will have some of the shortcuts. Now in this particular session, our requirement is what we are going to do is here, if you see, this is the file, right? Observe this. This is the file which it is available here, right? In this particular file, you can able to see the columns, and these are data. This particular data, we wanted to load it into our Snowflake tables. Now, if you wanted to load the data into the table, we required the tables will be available in schema, right? Schema will be available in database, right? So we need to create a database. Within the database, we should have a schema. Within the schema, we are going to create a objects, nothing but a tables or views or whatever it may be. Okay, we will see that. Now here, if you want to understand the relation easily, like you can have within account, you can have n number of databases. Within one database you may have n number of schemas. See this is a database. Within this you have a number of schemas. Within the schema you may have the objects, you may have a tables. See this multiple tables. Same like for example, if you are working with a Excel, Microsoft Excel, you have installed Microsoft Excel software. Let's assume that is a database software you have installed. Within that Microsoft Excel, once it is installed, you can able to open n number of worksheets, n number of worksheets, right? Let's consider each and every worksheet that as a one database. Within the database, you will have multiple sheets. These are schemas. These are schemas. Why we'll differentiate it? For example, let's say in one particular sheet, you will maintain HR details. Another sheet, you will maintain marketing. Another sheet, you will maintain account. Another sheet, you are going to maintain sales, right? Now, to differentiate it separately, we are maintaining in a different sheets, right? In every sheet, you will have tables like this. For example, this is one table. Let's assume like, okay, this is one table. This is another table. One is HR personal details, HR salary details, HR address details, right? Let's assume that. So their location details like that, we have a different tables will be there. All the HR's information will be maintained in a different tables. Same way, marketing, all the marketing details departments, it will be maintained in a different tables, right? Like this. Let's assume that these are the different tables related to marketing. Same way account, right? Each and everything you can consider as a schemas. Why we are maintaining separately? To maintain it separately, to understand it properly, right? And at the same time, same way, when it is coming to any project, they will have multiple businesses, right? In a one project you will have different departments will be there. Based on that, they are going to maintain a different schemas, right? Schema where it will be available in a database, nothing but in this particular worksheet you will have a sheets, right? This particular sheet, if you wanted to work with this sheet, what is mandatory? You should have Excel should be installed, right? Microsoft Excel is your like a software, assume that, like a database software, and then within that you can able to work with n number of worksheets. Each and every worksheet as a database. Within that you will have a number of schemas. Within the schema you will have a tables and objects, right? The same way here, our requirement is we need to load this particular data into a table. If you wanted to load a data into the table, what is required? You require a database, you require a schema, right? The table structure should be there. So let's create a database here. If you wanted to create a database, we can use create database name. We can give the script. Instead of that, see this here we have an option called create database option plus symbol, right? Click on that, and when I give the name of the database, now let's click on that create. Now what happened? Database name is created. Database is created. See this? Now the class database is created, right? Now, if I come to the database, here you can able to see two things. One is public schema, another one is information schema. Remember this, by default, when you create any database in Snowflake, you will get two schemas. One is information schema, another one will be public schema. Here, information schema, it will be related to metadata information about whatever the objects we are creating under public. Those information details, metadata information will be available in information schema. Going forward, we are going to see how to utilize the information schema in which situations. Now see this database is created. Within the database, you can see both the schemas. One is information schema, another one is public schema. Now, if I go to this particular schema, whatever the objects we are going to create, you are going to create it here. Now, once you create a database, now this worksheet, if you wanted to connect it to this database, you have a shortcut here. Click on this, set worksheet context. This is one option. Another option is click on this drop down list. You can choose the database manually, database and schema manually. Instead of that, if you wanted to choose this particular schema and then database into this particular worksheet, just click on it, set worksheet context. See this? Now the database is selected, schema is selected, right? No need to do it manually. Directly you can click on the set worksheet context. Is it clear? Now, whatever we are going to write the queries, whatever the table we are going to create, whatever the query you are going to run, it will be related to this particular database, this particular schema. It belongs to that particular database, particular because the worksheet is connected to this particular database, this particular schema, right? Now observe this here. Come to this. We created a schema, sorry, database. Then by default schema is available. When I click on schema, see this, we have create option. Here by default we received only one schema. If you want multiple schemas, yes, you can able to create it, multiple schemas based on the requirement, but default you will get a public schema. Now here observe this, here we have an option called tables, views, all these other objects, all these other database objects here. Now our requirement is we need to create a table. When we wanted to create a table here, see this standard, click on standard, then the table, it will take us to the worksheet, right? Just 1 second, guys. Sorry guys. Now see this here. So what, how it came, this particular thing, when I click on create and then go to the table, when I click on standard creating a table, then it came to this particular same. This is also related to worksheet. This is related to worksheet. See this, by default it has given create table statement, create table, table name, column names and data type. This is the create table statement, right? And here it has given, see this, so this is related to documentation, right? Now let me close this at this moment. So the same query we will run it in a worksheet. Now anything in our Snowflake, if you need any help or if you wanted to understand any specific topic, the complete thing, it is available in Snowflake documentation. This is a library for us. Here if you see, go here, see this one, documentation, right? Just click on the documentation. It will take us to this documentation help. Here you can search any topic. It will give you description, sorry, along with the code. For example, I will use create table. Okay, just I have given create table statement. Observe this one. Here you will get create table statement, what exactly it is, and then what is the structure of the create table statement. You can able to see some of the examples also by using create table statement, right? Everything it is available here as a library. This is our documentation. To go to that this particular documentation, here what you need to do, the down, if you observe left hand side, you can able to see the account admin here. Click on that, you will get documentation, right? This is the documentation for the Snowflake. Everything you will get it here. Now our requirement is we need to create a table here. To create a table, we need to write a create table script, right? To write a create table script, so here what we need to do is we have to create a table based on this particular structure, right? Because we wanted to load this particular table data into that particular table. To implement that, so here if you observe, this documentations will be uploaded into your Google Drive, and then this drive will be shared to you. You can use this for the reference purpose when you are practicing. Here if you see, create table statement already I have given. Due to time constraint, what I am doing is I am copying and then pasting here. I'm copying and then pasting here. Okay, so create table, and then we have table names and then data types, column names and data types. This is the script. So SQL script, right? Create table, table name is EMP we are taking, and then we have all these columns: employee ID, name, salary, age, location. Based on that, based on the the data which we are having, based on that we are defining the data types, and these are the columns, right? Now same thing we are creating here. When you run this script, when you click on run, the table will be created. See, this table is created. Refresh it here, you will see the table name. See this, when you click on that, you can able to see the table, number of rows, size of the table, who created it, and then when we have created it, you can able to see that. If you wanted to see the table definition, click on the table definition, you will get it, right? This is the table definition, right? Now if I click on this, you can able to see the column names, data types here. And here if you observe the symbols, see this, if you see this hash symbol, right? This is related to numerics. If you observe this one, this is related to like the A symbol, right? This is related to text. If it is a text, then you will have this symbol. If it is a value, I mean numbers, then you will have this symbol. Okay, so now, so here you can able to see these are the column names and data types, right? Now it's a just a table we have created. Now our requirement is we wanted to load a data into this particular table. If you wanted to load a data, we have load table option. This is one of the technique to load data into our Snowflake tables. In interview question and certification question, they will ask how many types, so we can able to, how many ways we can able to load the data to our Snowflake tables. There is three different ways. One way is loading the data by using load table option, what we are going to see it now. Now here, see this, let me refresh it. You can see the table here. Sorry, let it refresh. Once you see the table, click on the table. See this, you have load table option. Same thing, click on this here. Once you click on the table, you will get this three dots. Click on this more option, you will get load data. Both are same. Here if you click on a load data, it will come to this window. Here also, if you click on a load data, it will come to this window. Here our requirement is whatever the file we are seeing, that file We need to load it into this particular table, EMP table. To load that, you can see this load table option, right? Here you have an option of browsing, right? Click on a browse, select the file which you wanted to load. This is the file which you wanted to load. Click on that. The file is uploaded, and then where it is going to upload the file in this particular database, in this particular schema for this particular table, right? And when we click on next, here it will ask us to select file format. Why it is required? We choose the file name which you wanted to upload into a table, but again why it is asking file format here? So here we need to specify a file format, because if you observe the file, this one as a human we can able to understand the first line is related to column names, and remaining all are data. And this particular file, it separated with comma, so which is separating in between the column to column, that we will call it as a comma separate delimiter. Here comma is a delimiter, comma is a delimiter. If in place of comma in this complete file, comma is replacing with some other symbol like pipe symbol, then we will call it as a pipe separate delimiter. And by seeing this, we can understand when it is coming to the new row, we will consider that as a, when it is coming to the new line, we will consider that as a new row, right? Isn't it? And at the same time, this is related to data, this is related to column names. And we can understand the structure of this particular file, right? But when you are assigning this file to load the data to the Snowflake, how come Snowflake will understand what is the type of file, what is the delimiter, what will be the headers? I'm really sorry, guys. We cannot, it will not understand, right? For that, we need to specify a file format. It is not required every time, one time activity. Once you created a file format based on the type of file, every time we can use the same file format. Clear? For example, you created a file format for a pipe delimited file. Every time when you are processing a pipe delimited file, you can use the same file format. Now, let's say here we are trying to create a file format, CSV file, which you are processing is a text file. It will consider that as a CSV file. And one second, here it is asking header, right? If you see, this file is having header. This is the header. We don't want to take it into the consideration as a header, as a data, because already we created a structure. The table structure is already available. This is not a data. So here we need to skip header, skip first line, right? By default, no header default. If the file is not having any header, by default it will take it as a no header. But here we have a header, so we need to skip first line. Here you will get one more question, like if you wanted to skip from a file first two lines or first three lines, how to skip it? What is the option? Here we have an option called, see this, if you wanted to skip multiple lines, custom, and you can specify number here. If you specify 3 here, it will skip first 3 lines. If you specify 1 here, it will skip first 1 line. But here by default it is a skip first line. So we selected skip header. Okay, skip first line. And what is the delimiter? See this. Before that, going to that, let me show you one more thing here. When we are dealing with Snowflake, Snowflake will support all these 6 type of file format. Remember the number, you can able to recall it, what are the different types of file formats. This will be your certification question. Delimited, CSV delimited, that is nothing but a delimited file. CSV or tab separated, JSON file, Parquet files, Avro, ORC, XML. These are the different file formats file it will support. Here we may be familiar with CSV and then XML. But what about other things? Others are whatever you are seeing here, right? Like JSON, Pocket, Avro, ORC. All these are semi-structured file formats. When you are working with those file formats, we will see that how to deal with that. But now remember that 6 different file formats Snowflake will support. By default, file format is delimiter. That is nothing but a sorry, CSV or TSV. Okay. Now let it be. What is the next step we have given after the selection of the file format? Header, skip file, and then delimiter. By default, delimiter is comma separated. You will have, see this default option, right? You will have other delimiters based on your file type. You can specify it. It can be a tab, it can be a pipe, semicolon, space, whatever it may be. Based on that, you can specify. Let's say your file is customized file. Let's say that file is separating with hash or at the rate or some other special character. Then we can specify it here in the custom. For example, this is separating with every column is separating with at the rate and hash symbol. Then that will be a custom delimiter. Okay, otherwise the delimiter will be any one of the delimiter you can choose. Now what is the delimiter here? Comma is a delimiter, and remaining all are default options. Let it be, we don't need to worry about that. And in the end, if you see here, see this option. Yes, what should happen if error occurs while loading the data into a file? It means during the execution time, during the file when you are processing in Snowflake, during the load process, if the file is having any error, what it has to do? We have to tell to Snowflake, right? So by default option is it will not load any data to the table. Here we have a option called, see this, only load valid data. Another option is, so here do not load any data. When you by default, if you select this option, whatever the option it is available, it won't load any data to the table, it will throw the error. That's it. And if you wanted to load valid rows, you wanted to skip error records, then we can use the second option. Based on the selection, whatever we have done here, right? Whatever the selection we have done here, based on this, in the back end, Snowflake will generate a script for this. See this? If you wanted to see that, click on Show SQL. Observe this. This is important. We will copy it. In the coming session, we are going to discuss about this thing. What it is doing is it is copying into the table from the stage area. It refers to the stage area, and this is the file it is going to process, and these are the file format option. Skip header 1 we selected, CSC we selected, field delimiter we selected, remaining all are default options. And at the same time, this is on error abort statement default option, purge equal to true default option. What it is doing is in the backend, it is going to pick the file and it will load it to the stage area first. From the stage area, it will load the data to the table. This is the process. In Snowflake, you cannot load the data directly to the table without staging. At this moment, understand, like remember that staging means it's a temporary area where we are going to keep the files for processing the data into the table. In the stage area, we have a capability to clean up the files and validating the files, and we can do some kind of validations based on the if the file is valid, then only we can process it. That's why always we will keep the file in the stage area. Okay, remember this. Now same thing it is doing in the backend. See this, copy into table from stage. How come the date file came to the stage here? We have uploaded here, right? We have in the previous step we have uploaded the file, so it has picked that particular file and then it kept into the stage area. After that, based on this selection, it has applied all these file format options. Then it will load the data to the from stage to the table you are copying. See this, from stage, this is the complete related to the stage area. From the stage, it is copying into table. This is the table name, schema name, database name, right? In the simple steps, what it is doing, file, it is loading into the stage. From the stage, it is loading the data to the table. This is the process. Clear? Now, observe this. What it will do in the backend. When I click on load, it is going to load the file from that particular stage. Sorry guys, to the table. See this, data is successfully loaded, right? You can able to see 4 rows successfully loaded. Click on done. See this, you can able to see the data here itself. And if you wanted to see the data here in the worksheet, observe this, select star from table name is emp. Observe this, I am going to execute the query. What happened? Now it came, and along with this result, you can able to see here, see this stats, right? This is related to stats. If I click on, see this, if I go to this, let me show you. See this one. What it is going to do is along with that, it will give high level insights about that particular column in this particular data. See this, this is, it is given how much time the query is executed, and then what is the query ID, how many rows here. And one more thing, when you are writing any query in our worksheet, it will have unique query ID for the identification purpose. Again, if I run the same query, again it will generate a unique query ID. Even if I just see, if I add a where condition, if I check the data in a table, everything, the query ID will be generated. For every operation, what we are doing here, nothing but execution of the query. and then just selecting the data from a table also, it will generate a query ID. It is unique. And here you can see this. These are the statistics about that particular this particular columns on the table. Employee ID in between 1001 to 1004. We can understand. Okay, this is the range of the employee ID. Employee name 100% filled. There is no null values. There is no blanks, right? Employee salary in between 2000 to 9000, and this is 2000, 4000, 6000, and 8000. Remaining in between, so many blanks is there, right? And employee age in between 23 to 34, and an employee location, it's 100% filled. These kind of statistics you can able to see it here, right? So this is the future of the Snowflake. So it has given to identify the insights of that particular column. Same thing here. This is the result, right? If I click on chart, same thing. It is showing in the chart way, right? Here, if you wanted to modify x-axis, y-axis, see this employee ID here, right? Based on the employee IDs, and then here you have a salaries in the ac- y axis, this axis. So you have a employee ID, and then so here you have a salaries, right? So if you want what it should be in the employee ID, see this one, you can able to see that. So what is available in the x-axis, employee ID is there, y-axis we have a salaries, right? If you wanted to change, and then so for example I want what will be the bar size and all those things also you can define, you can able to see that, right? See this. So like this, so you will have the charts. Based on that data, you can able to see some of the visualization. So if you want a bar chart, line chart, scatter chart, different charts is available, so you can able to implement it's up to us. Okay, this is additional information like Snowflake has given for us for understanding the statistics. Now you saw this data, right? Now here we have all the columns. Now I wanted to filter only specific sorry, I wanted to filter out specific columns. Click on this. See this? You can do that, right? I don't want to filter it out. Select all columns. And if I want, sorry, if you wanted to select the columns, if you wanted to find out something, for example, I need to see India. See this? You can able to get it, right? And at the same time, here, instead of no need to run a query every time, just click on this option. You will have the here. If you click on the table, you will have an option of preview data. It will give you the data, but preview data, it will give only 100 rows, first 100 rows. Okay, not the complete data in the table. And what we have done here, we have loaded the data from file to this particular table, right? That is CSV file. This is a file, text file. It will consider as a CSV file, comma separate file. I want to load same file one more time. Yes, we can able to do it. Here we can do that. In the coming session we will see the restriction, but by using load table option we can load duplicate files, same file one more time. By using copy command option, manually when you are running copy command option, it will restrict duplicate files, but here it will allow. Observe this one. Again we are using load table. Again I am going to select the same file, and then we are trying to load it, same file format which you have selected. Okay, let it be. Default, comma, and then let it be. Here, see this. If I change this one, previously if I show SQL, see this on error abort statement, right? If I change that, for example, if I change this to this one, observe this now, on error continue. According to the selection what you are giving, based on that, this script will be generated. Okay, now just click on a load. Again, it has loaded the same file one more time to the table, right? Now see this. Total we have 8 rows. This will work only in load table option. Same file, if you try to load one more time, it will work here. The reason behind this is because of purge statement. Say this, purge equal to true. What this will do is, once the process is completed, whatever the file we are going to keep it in the stage area, that file will be removed by using a purge statement. That's why we cannot able to see that file in the stage. That's why it will allow same file one more time to the table. But in the coming session, we are going to see how to keep the files in the stage, how to see the file in the stage, and so how to process it manually. But here we cannot able to see that because of this command. It has removed the file from the stage area. That's why it is allowing same file to load one more time. Now same approach, if you wanted to try to load a this Excel file, and one more thing, Snowflake will not allow you to load Excel files. You need to convert that Excel files into comma separated values, then only you can able to. For example, let's say go to file, click on save as. If it is Excel file, you can click on save as, and then you can select the type as CSV comma delimited. Then your XLSX will be converted into CSV file format. Then it will be saved as a CSV file format. Then if you see that, see this is a comma separate extension, comma separated value file. If it is this comma separated value file, then only we can able to load. Otherwise, direct Excel files, if you try to load, it will not allow you to load. Now let's observe this. Here, that is a restriction here. If you wanted to load, let's come here. From this option, we will try to implement the loading table, load data to the table. Because here, if you observe, same structure, same column names, same data, right? Same type of data, right? That's why we are same file, again Excel file, we are loading into the same table. If structure is different, for example, I have another additional 4 columns here, it is not possible to load, right? And if I have the data types as a different, then it is not possible to load. Structure is same, the data is same, so we are trying to load the data. Click on the browse, select the file. This is CSV file. Again, next, CSV, it considered as a CSV header. Skip first line. In the Excel file also we have a header, and this will also consider as a how we saved this file, comma separated value. So comma separated value. Next, click on the load table option. See this? Again, it has loaded the data to the table, right? So first time we have loaded 4, again we have loaded 4, now we have loaded 8. Totally it will be 16 rows if you see the data, right? Observe this one, right? Here we have loaded the data by using load table option. This is very simple, right? If you wanted to load the data into Snowflake, we can load by using this option, but there is a restriction here. If your file size is greater than 200 MB approximately, 150 to 200 MB sometimes, it will not allow you to utilize load table option. Then how to load it? We have a solution for that. That is by using command line interface, or we will call it as a Snow CLI or Snow SQL. By using Snow SQL, so we can able to load the data by using Snow CLI. So that is nothing but like a command line interface. Snow CLI is nothing but command line interface. By using this, we can able to load greater than this particular size of the files. When you are implementing this, there is no limitation, there is no restriction, but as per the best practices, we will restrict the file size to less than 1 GB file, but we won't use more than 1 GB file. And at the same time, so if you wanted to avoid additional computation charges, we are going to specify the file size as less than 500 MB to 600 MB. That is the best practices. Going forward, we are going to see that. But remember here, if you are using load table option, there is a restriction. You cannot able to use file size greater than 200 MB. Load table will not work. In that case, what we need to do, we have to use command line interface. The approach will be the same. What it will do is, by using copy into table option, from the stage name, it will load the data. This is the approach. File, it will load it in the stage area first. From the stage area, it will load to the table. But by using CLI, command line implementation, we can able to do that. Okay. So here, so what are the things we have discussed today? Just we have loaded the data to the table. That's it, right? So for that, what we have done, we created a database, and then by default schemas will be created, and within that particular schema, we created a table structure. For that, we have used load table option to load the data into the table. Here, so what are the questions we discussed here? When you are having, when you created a database, you will have by default two schemas. One is public schema, another one is information schema. Public schema related to all the objects, right? All the objects will be created. And coming to the information schema, it contains metadata about the objects which it is creating in public schema. When it is coming to the creating, loading the load table option, how many file types of files Snowflake will support? Totally 6, right? And then when it is coming to default file format, default type of delimiter is comma separate delimiter, right? And there is a restriction in a load table option if the file size is greater than 200 MB, right? So these are the things. And when you are loading a data to the table, we cannot load directly to the table from the file. We need to keep the file into stage area, then only we can able to load the data, right? So these are the things, so we have observed here. Now the same, this particular files, it will be uploaded into the Google Drive. The video session also it will be uploaded, so please make use of this and make utilization of this video, and then the documents, try to implement the same thing whatever we have done here in your trial account. Like first 3 to 4 sessions we will go little slow. We will discuss all the different options. Once you are familiar with like user interface, navigation, then we will jump into the original topics into the Snowflake and then original functionalities of Snowflake. Okay, now let's come to the questions here. For this particular session, I will first go through the chat window first. The questions, I can see some of the questions here. Not an IT person with now planning to change IT sector, minimum experience, is it possible? Yes, Kalai Shalvan, it is possible. Could you please connect with the organizer? They will explain you each and everything. If you need any other information, you can ask them to uh, give a conference call. Okay, we will discuss on that separately. Okay, that possible. S- So just join. I would like to talk to you personally. Yes, Shashi, we will speak it. You can reach out the organizer. They will give you a call. Okay. Can you write script when this load is failed? Yes, we can able to write script, Arjun. That is possible. So we have a different options. Just we saw that file loading. That's it, right? When the file is having any issues, how to handle it. If you wanted to process multiple files, how to do that. In a multiple files, if you wanted to pick a specific file, how to pick a specific file. And at the same time, we need to load only valid data from the file, and invalid we need to ignore. For all those different scenarios also, we will see that practically in the coming sessions. Then you will come to know the clear idea on the things, like how the things is happening. Yes, Google Drive link will be created by the organizer today, and they will share it to all of us. Okay, still it is not created. Maybe they will create it today and then they will share it to everyone. Yes, Shashi, please tell me. No issues. Yeah. Can we, um, yes. Uh, Hello. We can able to create a custom roles. Yes, that is possible. We can create a custom schemas also. That is also possible. But what we are using is the default schemas and then default roles here. These are the default roles
Okay, so how we can create that?
that we are going to discuss in the further sessions. If you wanted to explore
Okay.
it, see this here. You have a admin option, you have a user and roles, and one more request is this Saturday and Sunday, so please, we don't have classes. Please go through that, what all the
Okay.
different options it is available here. Just have a look into that. See this here, we have a user, right? Here we have a
Mhm.
role. So if you click on a role, you will have a role creation, right? If you click on a user,
Okay.
you will have a user creation, right? All the options will be available here. Just go through that
Okay.
each and every option, and then what it is, just observe it. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
don't
Thank you.
worry about too much. We are going to discuss the things one by one. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Shashi, please tell me.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, yes, Shashi.
I have actually, I'm from completely a non-IT background. I mean, I have done my from 2009 actually, so I'm currently working to non-IT side.
Mm-hmm.
So I work on a Snowflake project.
Shashi, it's not clear for me. I'm sorry for that. We will connect in a call. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yes, Sunil, I can see the question. Yes. So it's a restriction previously in the previous versions, like older versions, it is 100 MB. Now it has been increased to 200 MB. And this restriction is because of like unnecessary utilization and misuses of, yes, correct. So when it is coming to the huge volume of the file when you are processing, right, our computation costs will be increased. To avoid that, they have set up this limitation here. Any other questions?
So after loading into the Snowflake table,
Mm,
there is no difference in the table size, right?
mm,
We have
mm,
loaded 2 MB, but the
correct.
table size, as I in the video session, it is the 2 MB only. Not it's not. Yeah.
You're talking about this table size.
Yes.
See this? 2 KB, right? 2 KB.
Yeah, 2 KB. Yes.
Okay. Because we are handling very less volume of the data, right? That's why you cannot able to see the difference. But if you are dealing with huge volume of the data, you can able to see the difference here.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yes, Kali. We are not going to cover any live projects completely. It's a kind of end-to-end implementations we are going to cover on each and every topic. Okay, to implement the live projects, it's very difficult. It's impossible to implement it. Yes, exactly, Sunil. So when we are keeping the files into the stage area, this topic we are going to discuss in the coming session. But anyway, the topic came right. So here, whatever the files we are going to keep it into the stage area, right? Snowflake is going to charge for us. That's why whatever the file we will keep it in a stages. This particular stage, it will be removed after 14 days by default. It will
Can
be
we consider
purged.
or is it mandatory 14 days?
We don't have any option on that. It will be removed. But before that, if once it is loaded to the table, if you wanted to remove that file from the stage area, we can do that manually, or the best practices is we can use purge implementation. That's the main intention of the purge here. What it will do is once the file is copied from stage to the table, once it is loaded to the table, then the file will be removed from the stage area. It won't keep the file in the stage. If you keep the file in the stage, for the storage, Snowflake will charge from us. So that's why. So we have a purge option. Okay. So you can able to see that the charges also here. I mean, how the cost management here, you can able to see. So going forward, you can able to see that. So what all the charges it is going to have. See this here on that. Let it come. Yeah. See this storage, data transfer. When I click on a storage, we can see a little slow today. I'm not sure. See this one, stage storage, fail-safe storage, database storage. It will differentiate each and every storage. Okay, we will discuss this. Storage will cost for us storage area. No, we cannot avoid the stage area. It is not possible. But without keeping the file into the stage immediately, we can purge it. That option is there. Is there
Purge
any
means
process to clean up within
what
1 week
exactly purge?
old data, 1 month old data? Data cleanup, no, we don't have an option, but we have an option for stage cleanup. That is by default 14 days. For the data cleanup, we don't have an option for that.
What is purge means exactly?
Purge means it is removing the file from the stage area after successfully loaded the data from stage to the table. It will remove it. That
Got it.
is
Thank you.
purge. Yeah. And how data type size defined in Snowflake in Oracle database, we are providing the data type size. Yes. So here by default, it is going to take it. Okay. So when it is coming to the data types and all, if you wanted to see that, just go here. and then documentation. So you can able to see all the data types here. All are, it's completely ANSI SQL only, guys, like how we are dealing with Oracle, right? So the same way, so here also, so you will have all the default like data types will be there. Along with that, we have separate data types also to handle with semi-structures data, that is a variant data type. See this, so you can able to see that, right? So by default, if you don't specify, by default it is going to take. So if you specify specifically, then it will take according to the specifications. Okay. And until 14 days, there is no charges will be applicable, right? No, the charges will be applicable. So until the 14 days also. That's why you can able to see the storage here. See this? This is related to stage. Whatever the file we are going to keep, right? That file, so it is having storage. For this storage, the charges will be applicable within the 14 days also. That's why the purge is the best practice option. Okay. Yeah. All these questions, right? So we are going to see one by one in the coming sessions practically. Then you will get one clarity on that. Any other questions? Okay, guys. If you don't have any questions, thanks for your time. Happy weekend, guys. See you on Monday. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.